Nadine, welcome into the pod. We appreciate your time so much. First off, you have the best pod setup. Like, what
Best.
a flex. Can you tell us about this background that you have going on?
You already picked your favorite one? Well,
It's
I
the
think
Scotland one.
well, unfortunately, Jen knows Scotland one yet, but I can offer
Yeah.
you the England one if you prefer.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
So yeah, that's the nice part working in football. You get to collect some cool balls of all our competitions and Champions League and Euros and what shall I say? We like footballs, don't we?
We do.
I love it. It tells a story. No, incredibly decorated career, incredibly decorated room. I am envious. But Nadine, we are approaching the last match day of the league phase, and we know that this format is new. We saw the men do it last year. Now the Women's Champions League is taking it over, and we know that you were kind of instrumental in putting this together. So first off, how satisfied are you with just how the league phase has turned out as we approach the last day of it?
First of all, can I thank you, the incredible crew who really promotes it all over, and I think it's really impressive. What this competition has created on and off the field. I mean, we are super excited. It's really, I think, met all our expectations. And when I look now ahead of to match day 6, I mean, and compare it to the past, everything is still to play for, right? I mean. 13 teams are still in contention to qualify. Everyone really, has to give their everything until the very end. And that was very different in the past with our past format. Last year, everyone was qualified. It was a done deal. And I think that was also the key thing that we wanted to change. And obviously, yes, I with others were involved in driving this change forward. It's my job, so I actually had no choice but driving it forward. But of course, I love what we do, and we really, I think, as a collective, European football really found the right answers to make the competition better. And I hope everyone is enjoying it, and yes, is seeing already the value in it.
Well, we definitely are enjoying it. But you spoke about your personal involvement. I'd love to touch base just a little bit more on that. What were the kind of conversations around it? How did you drive it? Was everyone on board? And why did you think like now was the perfect time to involve the league phase in women's football?
Well, as in the US or in other countries, we all try to find the perfect recipe for a club competition, right? How to make this competition more competitive, how to make it at the same more inclusive, give more players, more clubs, more regions a chance. So this was another ingredient we tried to get right. But at the same time, to make something competitive doesn't mean at the same time that, we have the right quality, right? Competitive means teams of equal level, but we of course also want to provide this top class football, which we believe we have here in Europe. And I think these were all thoughts that we discussed together with clubs, of course, with leagues, with many stakeholders around the table, and ask us what format provides the right formula, and also what access to this format to really drive our competition forward, sportingly speaking. And of course, then also how we drive it forward commercially speaking. So it's really, it's a joint effort. I mean, UEFA is the competition organizer, but in the end, the clubs need to deliver. In the end, we all need to deliver together and have to be on board, because we are not sitting on our high throne here and giving orders and saying this is the way to go about it. No, it needs to be a collective vision for this game, and I think we've managed well. If you see now that the top teams, forgive me, but they've lost some points. Mm-hmm. The smaller teams surprised, which we've never had before. Last year, at this stage of the competition, many teams had 0 points. Top teams had full points. And right now, again, looking ahead to match day 6, this is a very different story. So we really feel like we got this right, to give newcomers a chance, to give more teams a chance, to also provide fans and everyone with more top level football, which probably our top clubs, of course, also wanted. So I think really everyone deserves a compliment, and I think that's the way to go forward.
Nadine, I love that you've taken this sort of global lens approach, including the consideration of Americans in this conversation, in this sort of recipe in terms of what is ultimate competition. I'm just wondering what differences you're seeing now between European and the American game, and why so many players suddenly are turning their heads toward Europe in terms of American players that we're seeing embark on these new adventures, different competitions.
The hot question. There it is.
I
There
was
it
nodding
is.
my head
Bring
during
it, bring it
yeah.
on. Thank you very much. First of all, let me tell you this. But Americans have been always instrumental in European club football. I think many people don't even know how many Americans actually played here. So since the inception of the Champions League, we had 85 Americans, somewhere around this, in playing in European club competition. Alone this season, with over 80 Americans playing in Europe, which actually underlines exactly what you just said. There was a huge influx of Americans coming over and seeing the opportunity to play in our domestic leagues, playing professionally. And it's not just the top names, the ones that we, of course, love to have here, too. Girma, Heaps, Lily Johannes, other Thompson, other big, American superstars. No, it's a lot of American talent actually right now came over to Europe. And of course, I think it's a positive thing for us. But I also do think it's a real positive thing for the NWSL. And I would say equally, if Europeans go there, because in the end, there is no Europe versus US or anything like this. I mean, in the end, what does that tell us? It only tells us that there's finally a transfer market. That's a whole new area. We almost take it for granted, but a few years ago, there was no transfer market in women's football. There was no value assigned to players. And now we worry over players leaving and going, but that's part of the business. It's really good. It's actually really good if players don't just move back and forth between Europe and the US, but go to Mexico, go to other leagues, because that, honestly, I think is the best sign for us as an industry that women's club football grows, because in the end, do we want to be a big fish in a small pond, or do we want to be a small fish in a big pond? And I really, really would, judge the latest, let's say, transfers of American players also coming to Europe, also as a big compliment to the NWSL, to the US, of producing incredible talent. And I'm sure there are already also many players going from Europe to the US. So overall, I think it's just fantastic for our game, because when I played, there was always one good league in the world, and that was about it. So that's the reality. So I really think it's actually a fantastic development, and obviously we're also proud as Europeans that we, with our domestic leagues, but also with the Champions League and the European competitions we offer, that this is something attractive for international talent.
Nadine, I love what you're saying. First of all, I completely agree. I think we all here totally agree. It's just good for the growth of the game. But I want to know, just from your experience being an incredibly decorated player, someone that women's football has kind of been built on your progress throughout the sport, and now in your new career being the managing director of women's football, how important is it? Why is it so important that we see those transfers, the interleague, different continents, these players moving in and out, and why that's so important for the game to grow?
Well, as I just said, I mean, to have a transfer market emerge means also, and let's talk business now, a new emerging revenue stream for clubs. Yeah, we all have the same situation. We all try to make women's football profitable. We all try to, improve our finances, discuss how we get there. And, there are various revenue streams that can help to do so. Of course, from this perspective, it is very important. But also, let me touch on this point. particularly as a player, it's just so important. And I'm sorry if I'm becoming a bit critical, but sometimes we talk too much just about the finances and, oh my God, players go because there's the better salary. No, there's the better salary. No, what's right for the player as a footballer is a very important question to answer, right? Where are you in your career? How old are you? What challenge are you looking for? Do you want to play with a team full of stars, of the best players in the world, with different playing styles, with different tactics, in a different country, we don't know the language or whatever? I think is a fundamental question to answer as a professional footballer. That's what puts you out of your comfort zone. And I think that is so important too. I mean, you have weeks and weeks and months of discussions of about Rodman going on. But I think that is a fundamental question to be answered too when we discuss transfers and what is the right one and why at which time. And for my taste, sometimes I think, it should be given more attention. I don't know what you think, but
no, I feel like I'm lapping up. I feel like I'm lapping up every single word, and it's no surprise whatsoever with a player of your kind of caliber and experience that you are sitting in a role of managing director of women's football. Even when you speak about, you know, a player in different transitions of their career or different phases, that spoke volumes to me, right? Because for someone who's just transitioned into retirement, and for someone like yourself who achieved everything in European football to be sitting with an amazing role within UEFA, how are you managing that sort of transition for players into retirement and the pathways? And what was your experience in, like, moving from that as a player into working with UEFA? Any advice you would give to players? What are the pathways that exist? I feel like your facial expression has changed a little.
Would you want to have the truth, or
yeah? Oh, and the hard truth. That's why I think there's the safe space, the hard truth.
Look, you know, Jen, I mean, it's super difficult. If we're honest with ourselves, the only advice I can say is start early, open your doors whilst you're playing, be aware of your skill set whilst you're playing. When I retired, I mean, maybe I exaggerate a bit, but there were about 5 attractive jobs out there. And luckily now, also because of the professional industry we all also create, with the competitions we have, with great domestic leagues we have, etc., there are whole other industries emerging around it. Right now, you can be fantastic pundits like yourself. Now you can be sporting directors. Now you can, you know, have roles like mine and many other career paths. And I think it's really important for players to be aware of the opportunity that is out there, get ready for it, but then also to be ready again to put the effort in, because, you know, it's a second career doesn't just fall on you, unfortunately. It's hard work. It's you know, getting really your head down again and trying to understand the new task at hand. Sorry if I sound like a real German, but you know, many players are like, hey Nadine, how do you get into that position? I'm like, well, okay, it's been basically the last 9 years, 12 hours of work, and you know, it's not been a walk in the park at all. But at the same time, I'm very grateful for the opportunities I had personally, and I also tested a lot after my playing days. Also did a bit of punditry for the zone and different TV opportunities. But here I am, here I landed, and very grateful for this opportunity.
All sounds very business socks. So I'm going to transition to somewhere that you're very familiar, both as a player and now as an executive. Women's Euros. They're coming home. Well, not home, is it? Right? England, Germany. How excited are you for this to actually happen? And do you have any early predictions as to how the German national team will fare?
You know, if you sign up for a place like UEFA, you basically sign up for neutrality. So you will never, ever get a prediction.
So Germany is Switzerland now? What's happening? We're
Yeah, well, basically, I'm Switzerland forever. No, but I mean, obviously, I'm excited. It's very, of course, also for me personally, as the country I played for, I grew up in. It's very special, and I mean, Euro in Switzerland here was really fantastic. But this Euro in 29 will be. This is World Cup level. This is. There's no difference anymore. There will be 1.4 million tickets available. This is the double size of what we had in Switzerland. So it will be gigantic, and also for this competition, we are super excited. The growth of this tournament has been, absolutely astronomical, sportingly speaking, viewership speaking, but also from a commercial perspective. So I think Germany holds all ingredients to make it just another, great success story.
Nadine, I'll make a more neutral question of that. What will be the most magical thing about Germany hosting this Women's Euros?
The most magical thing? Wow, that's a big question. I mean, my wish list for these tournaments is always very, very long. I think really that, the kind of stadia we now go with for 29 are the biggest football stadia in the world, and to fill them with, fully or nearly fully for a women's football event is something I think that will be unheard of. But I also think that, these tournaments, we often talk about attendance and viewership and all these key hard facts. I also think this tournament is still very important for us to break down cultural barriers, which we still have in many of our regions, where girls maybe are not able yet to play. So these tournaments are incredibly important as a social lever, and to really change people's perceptions, to see this is what women's sport is all about. This is what, these women can deliver. This is how amazing these athletes can perform. So I really, I think that will always remain my biggest goal. Unfortunately, it's not really quantifiable, but it's a very important goal.
No, I love that. You have to see it to believe it. That's how we all got started. Nadine, thinking about back in the day, you and Jen faced each other a couple of times. Is there any memory that sticks out going against Jen Beattie?
There's no way. There's no way she's going to remember any. No. I'd even a baby as well. Nadine, it's okay if you say you can't.
A tall baby.
That was good.
I remember one occasion, and I think I scored Jen, and I'm not so sure how. I think it went not so well for you in the end.
Probably not. If we're talking about a Germany-Scotland matchup, that was never going to end well in the Scots. But in a club perspective,
it was Arsenal Wolfsburg semi-finals, Champions League.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, look,
she was an incredible player. That was I had just one lucky moment, and she certainly was always someone to look out for. So just one lucky punch for me.
She's too kind. I have one. If we've got time for one more question, you mentioned a Christmas party that might be happening tonight for UEFA, and I know you're the ultimate professional and definitely don't have a Glühwein waiting for you. But if you
don't make me sound so stiff.
Pardon?
Don't make me sound so stiff.
But if a recipe comes to mind of a Glühwein, could you recommend any recipe that you like? You have to make that this Christmas, because that is on our Christmas list to make Glühwein for friends coming round. Do you have a recipe for us?
Honestly, I'm just happy to drink any kind of Glühwein, So
okay.
I don't want to be more fancy than I am. So my recommendation is go to the next supermarket and buy the next bottle that is nearby.
It's made up already. I love it. Okay. Convenience. Great.
I love this, Jen. I need the recipe for some glühwein. I've never even heard of this or had it. So
I'll take
No,
it.
but she has a point. They're real recipes. There are people that are much more, trained and sophisticated in making glühweins than I am. So there are proper ways of doing that. Unfortunately, I wasn't really helpful for you to get
that's
there.
okay. We've got the idea.
got it,
This might
yeah.
be a new A3 segment. We get drink recipes from whoever we're interviewing. Like, we could have like a little cocktail. That could be our thing.
Yeah.
I love it. Well,
You know what?
Nadine, we don't want to take up more of your time. We know you have a Christmas party to get to. We really appreciate it so much and love following your career as a player and also what you're doing with UEFA. It's incredible. It's inspiring. So we really want to thank you for your time.
No,
Awesome.
thank you for everything you do. And it's a pleasure to talk to you.